Hi, I'm Annette from itsadelight.com, and today I'm going to share with you my white chicken chili. This is a very good fall, winter, late winter, wonderful food. It's actually even a good thing in the summertime because you can just put it in the crock pot and eat it with chips. I think your family will love this. I'm going to show you how to use some broth, and we're just going to use some nice good seasonings. And we're going to make this chicken chili all in one crock pot. Okay, this is an oval crock pot, but you don't need a very big crock pot at all for this. Another thing about this recipe is you can easily double it. This is going to make about 5 to 6 servings, which to me is kind of a small size, so you could definitely double it, and then you'll see how easy it would be to double it. Okay, so the first thing I do with this is I just take my chicken, and this is just boneless chicken strips. They're called tenderloins. I just get it from Costco. Okay, so 6 to 7 of these. Put it in the crock pot, and yes, it's basically frozen, sometimes slightly thawed. Either way, it doesn't matter. It takes 1 hour in your crock pot on high. That's all there is to it. And I'm gonna put in my 1/4 cup of chicken broth. So that is just to keep it from scorching or burning. We'll put the lid on, and we're gonna put this on for 1 hour, and then I'll bring it back. Okay, so now my meat has cooked for the hour, and it is just perfect. This just works like a charm. You can actually use this shredded, you can make shredded chicken like this for so many other things. So now I'm going to show you, you can either use 2 forks to just quickly shred this in the crock pot. We don't even take it out, okay? Or you can use a handy dandy tool like this, which is called a meat masher or a meat chopper. Okay, and I'm going to use this and show you how wonderful this works. So I just come in here and I just give this a good twist and a push. And it just, you can see how tender this is. It just falls right apart. If you need to add a fork, you can just see how easy this pulls apart and just shreds up nicely. Now you can go as shredded as you want or more chunks. Like this is how I like mine, a little bit more chunks. And so this is good enough. Now I'm gonna just start adding in the rest of my ingredients. Okay, so next I'm gonna put in my Great Northern white beans. And instead of white beans, I was gonna tell you that you can use a borlotti bean, and this is a really good bean too. Very nice, creamy white bean. This is what I'm using in a 1/2 jar. And actually a 1/2 jar is exactly 2.5 cups, just for those that like a measurement, okay? And so you're gonna see as I'm adding halves of everything, how easy it would be to double this recipe and just add a whole into this crock pot so that you ended up with a bigger batch, okay? Next, I'm gonna put in a 1/2 pint jar. This is my homemade salsa, so that equals 1 cup. Yes, I actually even measured it out for you guys. So we've got 1 cup of the salsa in there, and I'm using mild today. And next I've got a 1/4 cup of sour cream. Give that a little bit of a stir. And next I'm gonna put in 2 teaspoons of my chicken paste, my chicken bouillon paste. So there's 1 teaspoon, and there's a 2nd teaspoon. And next we're gonna put in 1 cup of frozen corn. And sometimes I do a little more, but this is all I had today, so 1 cup is just gonna do the trick. And I'm also gonna put in a 1/2 cup of red and yellow bell pepper pieces. Again, that's just saved up in the freezer, that's frozen. My corn was frozen, it's just something I had left over, needed to use up, and I love to put corn and peppers in this. And then I'm gonna put in 2.5 cups of some shredded cheddar, also right out of the freezer. So that starts to make the soup get really easy. Okay, we'll give that a stir. I love to add blue kale to everything. Y'all know that if you've been watching me for any length of time. So I have a half a cup of kale pieces. This is fresh, blue kale, just all chopped up. This is optional. You can put the kale in there. You don't have to. Same thing with the peppers and the corn. That's totally optional. You can do without it. Now, another thing is you can add some green chilies in here if you like a little bit more spice. I'm not gonna today, but that's really good. Then we're gonna season all this up with some wonderful seasonings that I have here. I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of cumin, 1.5 teaspoons of taco seasoning. You can add more of that if you want. I have 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 teaspoon garlic powder, 3/4 teaspoon onion powder, and I have 1/4 of a teaspoon of Mom's seasoning salt, which if y'all are wondering what that is, that's my own little handy blend of a seasoning salt and herbs that I make, and I teach you how to do that on my course called Shake on the Goodness. Be sure you check that out if you want to know more about why all these delicious spices and herbs are so beneficial and how much nutrition they add to our food and our meals. Check that out. So we're just going to give this all a good nice stir. And one last thing, I always love to add a little bit of parsley. I've got a little bit of dried parsley. And so I'm gonna add a good pinch, which we're gonna call that about a teaspoon. You could do more. Lots of times I even do more of this. That was dried parsley from the garden, but any dried parsley will work. And that's it. We're now gonna put the lid on this. All right, so we're gonna leave this covered and we're gonna put this on low now, not on high, because you'll probably scorch it. So we're gonna put this on low and I'm gonna let this go for up to 2 more hours. It's gonna need a good hour, okay? Hour and a half, I think, is about an hour and a half to 2 hours is pretty perfect. Then if I have to go longer, I'll put it on keep warm. And so I'll come back and I'll serve a bowl up for this, and you guys are gonna love this. Your family is gonna love this. Okay, so our chicken chili is done. I have served you guys up a delicious bowl, and after I put it in the bowl like that, then what I like to do is I like to top it with a little bit of extra sour cream, okay? And just a few shreds of cheese, because my family thinks a little extra cheese makes everything good, or they would say better. And literally, that's how I would do it on each bowl. Now then, I'm gonna share an extra thing because we love in the wintertime to have fresh things. It's kind of orange season around here. So another thing I love to do is just take fresh greens, have a little bit of red cabbage in this, and just some really good sprouts. These are just a really nice tasty sprout, and then add a few mandarin oranges on this salad and just make a really wonderful sunshine salad. Just kind of makes me think of, I don't know, February and March are just the months we love to add oranges to salads around here with our greens. And you can serve that with any of your favorite dressing, okay? And then also I would probably put on the salad, a few little sliced almonds. And lots of times I'll do some of my own little maple almonds. I didn't have any right now, so I just threw some on what I have. And now you've got a wonderful rich soup with a nice, healthy, just yummy, citrusy salad to go with this dinner. And that is your dinner. It's complete. So I want to share just a couple extra tips with you about this soup. And that is also, actually it's a chili. If your chicken pieces are just a little bit too big still, or some of your bell peppers are too big, you can just use some scissors and just give a little snip in there. That's what I do sometimes. If something that looks a little too big or chunky, or get a kale that was a little bit too big in there, that's one handy tip to use your kitchen scissors with. And the other thing about this is, remember that when you are using your frozen veggies, you can use all frozen veggies for this. You could even use leftover frozen chicken from the to throw in here. Then you could skip a whole step. You could use leftover rotisserie chicken in this, so your chicken was already pre-cooked, okay? That makes this super easy to do. Your cheese is frozen. And if it's too thin, and maybe I already said this, just use a little extra chicken broth and you can thin that down a little bit. We kind of like ours a little bit on the thick side because we like to dip it with chips. And I think you guys are gonna love it. I hope you'll enjoy it. Give this nice one pot chili a try, and I'll see you in the next video.